Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. Today, as always, we have 4 great decks for you today, along with some expert opinions on Scarlet Spider, along with a great Scarlet Spider deck. 2 of today's decks are focused on winning Infinity Conquest, including this very first one, and we have an exclusive top 3 ladder deck for you at the end of the video as a way to get you to keep watching. But we're going to begin with this deck from Andre Var. Andre Var is one of the founders and leaders of Team FAK, one of the most successful Marvel Snap teams in the game. He has repeated as Card Thwips champion. Card Thwips is a weekly tournament of Marvel Snap. 50 players competed this week. Andre Var has won 2 weeks in a row. And awesomely, thank you to Andre Var for watching last week when we featured his number 1 deck. We suggested some tweaks to it, and then he took the tweaks and ended up winning again. Sort of going lighter on ones, adding Quicksilver instead, and then adding Kate Bishop as a way to sort of ensure more consistent Wiccans. Those more consistent Wiccans pay off in terms of being able to allow you to just end game Ajax Hazmat and play a lot of more powerful stuff along the curve throughout the game. So this is just an insanely strong deck right now. Really huge props to Andre Var for coming up with it. If you're interested in checking out Andre Var's content, it's twitter.com/AndreVar14. And if you'd like to check out Card Thwips, make sure you go onto Twitter and check out Horizon Snaps. These are both Team FAK members. Again, 50-person tournament weekly in Marvel Snap. Great stuff. You need Kate, US Agent, Ajax, Wiccan, and Man-Thing here. Nocturne and Copycat are your replaceable cards, and options include Speed, Red Guardian, Gladiator Debris, Polaris, Green Goblin. Basically, any good 3-drops here make a lot of sense. I personally do like Speed a lot in this kind of deck, but we're seeing sort of a resurgence in magic in the meta, so Nocturne makes sense again, and Copycat's very strong. She's fallen by the wayside a little bit, because it's sort of a dead card a lot into Hela and stuff like that, but this is still a very powerful Marvel Snap card. So again, winner of a 50-person tournament. Turn 1, you play Quicksilver, and you'll have Quicksilver, so that's nice. Turn 2, Kate, if no 3, and then you just sort of go through your other 2s. You'd rather hold Hazmat. Turn 3, you want Luke or Nocturne. Ideally, you can play Copycat or a 2+1 just fine as well, again, though you're holding Hazmat. Turn 4, Wiccan is your goal. That's better than Man-Thing. Man-Thing is insanely key, though, and you do want to play Man-Thing on turn 5 if you get Wiccan out on turn 4. On turn 5, you'll end up playing Man-Thing and a 3, which is insane value. Man-Thing and Nocturne, Man-Thing and Copycat, Man-Thing and sometimes Luke is crazy strong. And then you want to end with Ajax and Hazmat, but when you don't get your Wiccan going, you're fine going Man-Thing on 4 into Ajax, into Hazmat, and a bunch of cheaper stuff to end the game. And that's how you play this. It is really good. This is one of my favorite lists right now. Props again to Andre Var for coming up with this. We're going to take one last look at the deck, check for a moment, and then we're going to get into a deck that absolutely bullies Hela. I watched this deck go undefeated, set 8-0, winning straight through Gold and Infinite Conquest. Just insanely strong deck right now, especially in Conquest that we're going to talk about, and it beats Hela super consistently. First, though, last look at this. This list is very strong. There are an absolute ton of synergies. If you're struggling with move, Shadow King helps you answer that, as does Man-Thing, making their cards weaker. Ajax can get as big as move cards, right? If you're struggling into Hela, if they don't get their Luke going, US Agent, Shang-Chi, and Ajax are masters at winning that matchup. If you are seeing a lot of Luke in there, we might have a problem. I'm not sure what the answer to that is. That'll be the one way that this can fold in that matchup. But this is really strong into Junk. Junk getting all of their stuff negative, and then you get a huge Ajax out of the deal is insanely good. Or you can play the Luke, and only their stuff gets the negative, and then you just sort of go over the top. A million ways to win with this. It is a very strong, very cool deck. Give it a try. In addition, if you're willing to, right below me is a little red button. If you click that, you are subbed to this channel. We bring you 4 new decks every single day. More decks than anyone, more consistently than anyone. Top of the meta decks that you exclusively get here on this channel. You'd have to scour the whole Marvel Snap community to get even half of these decks, and even more than that, these are proven decks from some of the best players in the game that you cannot find anywhere else. So if you're interested in the best decks in Marvel Snap, make sure you hit that sub button. In addition, liking and commenting really do help the channel grow. They basically tell the YouTube algorithm to show this to more people. So if you're willing to help us out, we're trying to hit 15,000 subs by the end of the year, and we're somehow amazingly getting close. So if you can help us get there, it would mean the world to us. In addition, we are giving away 15 season passes. So every single video this week from Monday to Friday, today is Thursday if you're watching on a later date, if you comment on the video, a winner on Sunday's winner will be chosen from the comments and announced on Sunday's video. That winner will get Agent Venom. At some point this video, I'm going to ask a question. There will be a as long as you're subbed and as long as you like, you're entered to win Agent Venom. So if that's a thing you're interested in, that's a great way to get that card for free. Agent Venom, I think, is going to be very strong. The more I think about it, because it's a 2/4, I think this card's going to end up working out really, really well. All right, we also have a Pokemon channel right now as this goes live. Our friend Gunny T on our Pokemon channel has a Pokemon Terms FAQ, so please do check that out. That will be linked in the top pinned comment to this video and the description to this video. So if you're interested in checking out Pokemon Pocket, a game coming out on October 30th, it's the Pokemon equivalent of Marvel Snap. If you want to check it out, please check out our content on it. All right, this is bullying. This deck just feels so freaking mean. So obviously, it has the Storm War Machine Legion thing going, right? That's still incredibly powerful. That still wins an absolute ton of games from Marvel Snap. But it doesn't remotely need that. Not only does it not remotely need that, it is really mean into Storm Lane. Right? Even without War Machine, you have Madam Web, you have Aranya, you have Iron Fist. You can get into stormed lanes at insanely high power levels and win the game. And once you have priority, you have Cosmo and Eliath to lock it up. If you can win a storm lane, move gets so big that you should absolutely be able to win another lane. This is a Sizer deck. You can find Sizer at Sizer2654 on either YouTube or Twitch, streaming absolute top line Marvel Snap. He was the #1 player in 2 different seasons of Marvel Snap and the #2 player in the Infinite Leaderboard in 2 different seasons of Marvel Snap. This is one of the best players in the world. We featured another awesome deck from him yesterday. He decided that the War Machine Storm Legion combo was underexplored and wanted to use it to specifically beat Hela. This deck specifically beats Hela. So you need Madam Web, Aranya, Ghost Spider, Legion, and War Machine. I know that's reasonably expensive, sorry. If you don't have Eliath, you can try Heimdall, but that is way worse, particularly into that Hela matchup, where if you stormed one lane, you get Cosmo into one lane, and then you Eliath one lane. Hela cannot go off, and without Hela, they don't have enough power, and you fundamentally auto-win. That's basically the guarantee here. If you storm a lane, even just like getting a Madam Web and a Cosmo is often enough to guarantee a win, or just getting an Eliath out is often enough to guarantee a win. That storm with either of those cards just really, really makes your opponent have to get lucky to beat you in the Hela matchup, and meanwhile, it just like, if you're playing a bunch of Clog, you've got a decent matchup because you have enough ways to move that Clog around, and that Storm lane should be easy to win because they don't put out that much power early, stuff like that. There's just a ton of ways to win with this. This list is incredible. Let's go card by card, in fact, because this list is so good. So you have the 1-cost move package at the beginning. Aranya should be saved for as long as possible, ideally with Human Torch, but try not to use Aranya early unless it's Human Torch. You'd rather save it until later unless you think the opponent is threatening either a Red Guardian or a Killmonger. Meanwhile, Iron Fist and Ghost Spider can be used on any card. Ghost Spider is probably the move you want to use earliest because if you storm a lane, Iron Fist and Aranya can help you get into it, while Ghost Spider cannot. Ghost Spider, however, is perfect for last turn placement. Try, unless it's Legion, although even sometimes if it is Legion, to make the last card you play on turn 4 or 5 a move card, and then you can lead off the next turn with the Ghost Spider for a ton of power. Even if you played that, you can play that card on or off Madam Web. You can move it from Madam Web into a storm lane, and then if you're already winning that lane, you can pull that right out with Ghost Spider, getting a double move and a ton of power that way. Torch is the biggest scaler. He's the reason we're seeing Killmonger in the meta right now, I feel like, because this card just gets absolutely huge. One move from Aranya gives you a 1/8, or I guess technically 2/8 because you played it on you, right? But look, 2/8 is top of the line stats in Marvel Snap, and if you get a 3/16 from a third move, you've probably won a lane. That is just like almost automatically lane winning stuff. The 4th move, Madam Web, anyone, makes this card absolutely busted, absolutely insane. It wins a lane, so if you have Storm and other things, Human Torch is perfectly capable of winning another lane all by himself. Iron Fist, obviously, is just the last of the regular move cards. That works specifically as a play even on the last turn. Unlike Aranya, you lose the +2 power, but you do get the immediate reaction of move. He's the easiest move card to sequence outside of Aranya because it's just play him, then play the next card, and then the thing happens. It's worth remembering that Iron Fist does happen before Aranya. So if you go Iron Fist, trigger Aranya, Human Torch, the card will go left, then right, which is worth noting. Iron Fist is absolutely stellar. Iron Fist and Aranya's presence make even storming mid a thing that you can do. Dagger is your biggest and safest card most of the time. It's less good against Hela because Hela will often not have enough cards to let you get a huge dagger. But if you do, against basically everything else, dagger is often a 20-ish power card. And against Hela, it's a perfectly serviceable 12 to 15, right? It's just no longer because they have so many other powerful cards. The lane winner would be, but dagger is an absolute priority card to play because 2 moves can get dagger up to 24 power, which is the easiest way to get a ton of power on your move cards. And a lot of the times, that's just dagger, pull into Madame Web, dagger, throw out of Madame Web, and then the job is done for a ton of power. She's absolutely essential on turn 4-5 for grabbing priority for turn 6 for Goliath. Dagger is stellar. She's the ideal second mover to play late in the game. Madame Web is the whole deck. She's fundamentally a snap condition. Madame Web means I can do all my Storm combos. I can, even if I mess up my Storm War Machine Legion thing, I can move cards then. I can put my Cosmo where I want it, and I can buff all my movers. Madame Web is the single most important and powerful card in the list. Storm is how you're stealing lanes. A Storm with even like a 9 power Vulture, right? Let's say you go Storm into Vulture Iron Fist, right? That is a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 power lane on turn 4, assuming you haven't played anything else there, that you can still get things into with other move cards. That alone is incredibly powerful. That's probably a lane win. If you can get enough stuff out for turn 5, you can get a giant Human Torch or giant dagger going at that point. Either one of those can be protected by Cosmo or Goliath, at which point you win. Storm says, I won a lane, now I just need to figure out how to win another, and I have the highest power tools in the game to do so. War Machine is here for 2 reasons. One, he's a combo card that you can use off Storm, which is obviously very powerful. He's just good power at 4-7, but he's a combo card to work off Storm. So say, okay, I didn't actually get that lane one. I can still play cards there. I can still play my move cards there in particular in order to win that lane. The other thing War Machine really does is there's a lot of locations that are very bad for move. Things like you can only play cards here turns 1, 2, and 6, the miniaturized lab. Things like Death's Domain, and so, not Death's Domain, things like Sanctum Sanctorum are annoying. War Machine says, yeah, we're not going to worry about that. I'm not actually concerned with that. I'm just going to be able to play cards where I want. Legion has the same basic thing, but it's worth remembering that Kunlun is a neutral location. So is Muir Island. Being able to turn those all into Legion, into whatever location benefits you, is insanely strong. But so is, obviously, you can do the Storm thing, right? You can do Storm into Legion and win, but you can also turn off Flooded as necessary, turn off a Magic as necessary when you want to get into those lanes. And Goliath is the ultimate protection card when you have priority, but even if you don't have priority, if you've built up enough power, Goliath just being a 6-10, 10 is enough power to just win lanes. So this is an incredibly, incredibly powerful card right now. There's like almost bounce coming into the meta. There's almost, there's almost some Sarah stuff coming into the meta, and Goliath is what's keeping that in check. If you can, if a Hitmonkey is a problem, right, between Storm and Goliath and Cosmo, you should not have that problem any longer. This is insanely strong and consistent, and I did not expect my favorite home for the Storm War Machine Legion package to be in a move deck. All right, turn by turn. So, again, this went 8-0, straight through gold, straight through Infinite Conquest. It did lose a gold match next, but Sizer had a very easy win, except it was like 3 in the morning for him. And Derek, the current number 1 player, is yelling at him, just move dagger mid, just move dagger mid. And an extremely sleepy Sizer misplayed, and then went, I should go to sleep, which was the right decision. So this is undefeated when played by people who are actually awake. Turn 1 Aranya, turn 2 Madame Web, or if Torch, you can do the many moves, then you can go to Aranya. You can do the Iron Fist and Human Torch with Aranya, or you can do the Ghost Spider and Human Torch with Aranya. You're fine doing that and just getting that power out early. Turn 3 is meant to be Storm, almost always. Figure out where to Storm. The hardest decision to make, what's going to take a lot of practice, is where you Storm. Storming the wrong place can cost you the game. Then you're fine vulturing otherwise, and Cosmo, if you have a huge torch, is really good. Or Cosmo is just a perfectly fine play, basically always. Cosmo is significantly better, however, when you have Madame Web or Aranya. Otherwise, the Iron Fists and Ghost Spiders of the world can get a little frustrated. Turn 4 is War Machine, or you can play some moves, or you can drop Cosmo. A decent thing to do is drop Vulture and then go Ghost Spider into Cosmo. Perfectly fine play. Turn 5 is Legion or War Machine, and Legion's just decent stats, right? Don't be afraid to play War Machine and set up a move card on turn 5, though, if you're sure you want to get a move going. And then turn 6, Alioth or Cosmo and your last movers. Nice and simple. Ideally, through this whole time, you're moving things into Madam Web and pulling them back or punching them back and getting yourself some nice, like, 15 power vultures and 20-something power daggers and so on and so forth. And then, like, remember, once you've won a Storm Lane, you only need to claim one more. This list is silly strong. I strongly urge you to try it, especially in Conquest, because that gives you time for like the draws to line up in your favor. You also get to steal a game or two from just going Storm into War Machine into Legion, just because in Conquest that combo comes together about 20% of games, 1 out of every 5 games, 18% technically. So if that combo comes together 1 out of every 5 games in a long Conquest match, you're going to get 1 or 2 free wins from it, which seems pretty good. Next up is going to be a bundle review, and then we're going to look at Owie's best Scarlet Spider list. But once more, Sizer is on freaking fire with these lists. Go check out Sizer's decks, and go check out Sizer's streams to watch him play this like an absolute king. These are amazing lists. We featured another Sizer list yesterday. You should be playing them. They're super strong. If you're interested in gameplay from these and aren't going to check out Sizer right now, it is Thursday, so the great Parry Manilow will be streaming these decks later on today. GamingwithFlashX should also have a YouTube video up this morning with yesterday's decks. Make sure you do check those out. Oh, we also have the Nanotech Ronin bundle, and hey, don't buy this. This is not a good deal. I don't know how to be clear on that. This is an actively bad deal. If Silver Samurai were still a Series 4 card, I would suggest you buy this. But as a Series 3 card, this is just not worth it. 2,000 gold and 1 Spotlight Key is 161.4% value. The absolute minimum value I ever recommend people buy is 172%. This is 10% worse than that. Please do not buy this bundle. Nanotech Ronin is a bad deal for you. Unless you are absolutely dying for that Spotlight Key, and even then, this is still below par. Don't spend cash on this bundle. Owie in red. This is Owie's Scarlet Spider list. Owie is the top French player in the world. He actually just won a tournament for another game. He's a phenomenal card player. This is reasonably similar to my first day Scarlet Spider list. My first day list was running the Mysterio Mockingbird Sasquatch plan. If you want to check that out, it's 2 days ago. It's currently the highest win rate Scarlet Spider list in Conquest and second highest on ladder. So if you're interested in that, please do check it out. But for now, this is just another awesome way to play the list. This one is built specifically to beat, you'll never guess, Hela, because it's got the Juggernaut Cosmo thing going. This is basically a scaling threats deck. If you don't get Thena or Gwenpool or Elsa going, you're probably going to have a really hard time winning. But if you get 1 going, you have a shot. And if you get 2 going, you've got a really great chance of pulling off the victory. You can find Owie streaming at twitch.tv/Owie with 5 eyes. It's also worth noting, if you're looking for Owie, he's on YouTube. It's in French, but it's Marvel Snap. You know, with the cards, you'll be fine. At Owie Marvel Snap. You need Gwenpool, Kitty, and Thena for this. Hope or Elsa's replacements, however, are high series cards. There's Sage and Nocturne. Scarlet Spider can be a Series 4 card, though. Series 3 card. Captain Marvel is perfectly fine. And Jeff can be Kate or Nocturne. I'm aware these are high series cards. I don't know if that's the only available replacement, because you need things of around the same cost that move. You can try Spider-Man, but it's nowhere nearly as good. Alright. Turn 1, you play Kitty over Nightcrawler, and you can save Nightcrawler unless you already have Gwenpool. Turn 2, you want Angela over Thena over Jeff, because a perfect curve doesn't always let you grow a huge Thena. Turn 3, you want Hope. That's over Elsa over 2+1. Turn 4, if you don't, is Gwenpool over Scarlet. But I'd rather go Elsa and a 1 on turn 3 than play Scarlet as a general rule. Turn 5 is, again, Gwenpool and a 1, or Gwenpool and a 2 if you played on Hope. If not, then you're dropping Scarlet and a 1, or a 3 plus a 2. And then turn 6 is Shang plus or Juggernaut plus. And Juggernaut plus Cosmo is an absolutely great way to win games of Marvel Snap if you're interested. That's it. That's how you play this list. It's really, really simple, right? It's incredibly powerful. It ends up being like figuring out when and how to do the Thena minigame to trigger Thena is a lot of the trick here. spoiler, my general opinion is at the end of the game, I sort of give up the buff in order to play an extra card because the card is that buff is +3 on Thena. I can usually just be playing a 3 power card, which is the same basic concept. Yeah. All right, so we're going to look at top player thoughts right after we look at this deck one more time, and then we've got an exclusive top 3 bounce list from the homie Barzy. We love Barzy. Such a good person. All right, so this is the list. It's really, really simple. Again, basically use thena, gwenpool, and Elsa to grow stuff. If that stuff is Scarlet Spider, it grows exponentially. Everything else is just sort of a regular grower, regular scaler. But if you if you grow a Jeff, for example, that is now, you just made yourself a vision. If you grow a Nightcrawler, you get the same idea. Juggernaut messes up your opponents. Shang is really powerful. And then Cosmo wrecks some hella goodness. That's it. Nice and simple. Does this beat move? Nope. Got a good shot against Hell. It's got a good shot against most of the rest of the meta. It can beat Junk. A lot of it's going to depend on your Cosmo and Juggernaut timings. All right. Top player impressions of Scarlet Spider. This is the 4/5 that makes a clone of itself. Sizer says good mid-range card, not good in the go tall meta, bad into Hela and Clog. So again, like, this card has some power, but it's not great. Oh no, I didn't add safety because I had like an hour conversation with safety. I'll just tell you safeties at the end. Nithiel says this is mid at best. Every deck I tried is better without it. Makes sense to me. I like it in the previous deck, and I decided I don't really love yesterday's deck from Woody, but I like it in the previous deck and the first deck, but it's not required for either. Geo says pretty good, but not with the high power level of the game right now. Hey, that's the same concept as Sizer. Owie, powerful but annoying to set up, better in a simple deck. We just saw Owie's simple deck with it, so cool. W says, I like it way more than most. 4/10 with upside will age so well. W is usually right when he says this. Fair warning. If W thinks it's going to be good later, it's probably going to find a meta to be good. Rutmus says, mid, I wonder if when the meta shifts, it will start to dominate. Same basic concept as W. This can age very well. However, Jet, who's now streaming by the frickin' way, says very meh. Jimmy Dickens says, okay at best, not trash, but with Clog in the meta, he doesn't cut it. Yep, we'll have to see what happens with Clog. If Clog sticks around everywhere, I just can't see this card being good. And Big Baby literally just says mid. Safety says people aren't trying this in enough shells. It's not great right now, but it has a lot of potential. The people who have like future vision traditionally think this card's going to be good. I still don't think you should probably get it right now because it's too hard to imagine when Junk will go away. I mean, there's an OTA later, right? So it's possible that Junk goes away later today, but there's so many good Junk cards. I find it hard to imagine that like they can nerf enough to not just make it like an Eliath meta, which is still going to make this difficult. So this will be good eventually, but I think that when that happens is so far down the line, I'm not in any real rush. Although giving this one extra power, if they decide to buff this in an OTA, is suddenly going to make it. All right, Barzy is coping. He named this deck himself, but he got to top 3 with it, so maybe he's not coping so much. This deck loses to Hela, and if you don't see Shadow King, this deck loses as well to Move. But it beats everything else. It's got some good gameplay into Junk, depending on when you see your Falcon and Beast. And so it's a very strong list. That's fundamentally what we're doing here, right? Be careful with it, but if you play it well, play it carefully, and retreat wisely, you can climb an awful lot with this, because Bounce, as always, is a cube stealer. So you can find Barzy at twitch.tv/Barzy. I've been told there are 8 Ys. I counted 9, but whatever. Try 8 or 9 Ys. You'll find Barzy. Barzy is also one of the best players in the game and has only been playing for several months and has already finished in the top 5 in the Infinite Leaderboard basically every freaking season. You need Swan, Werewolf, and Monkey for this list. Sage can be Bishop or Wolfsbane. Silver Sable and Nico can be Iceman and Hawkeye. And Kate Bishop can be White Widow or Baron Mordo, aka Bordeaux. Alright, Barzy climbed to rank 3 with this list. Silver Sable can be, Silver Sable over Hood is generally the turn 1 play. Turn 2, you'd like to drop Swan. If you have hand space, you drop Kate, or you drop 2 1-drops. And then Werewolf or Bounce on turn 3. If you have Werewolf, you play Werewolf, and now you play Bounce. Turn 4, this is your last Swan chance, so you can play Swan and then some Werewolf move. If not, you just play a bunch of Werewolf move. Turn 5 is trigger Swan and Bounce if you can. Then turn 6 is hit Monkey and either Sage or Shadow King with your now free 1-drops. This is about as simple as Bounce is going to get. If you're looking to learn Bounce, play this list if you have access to it. This is like you hopefully you saw that turn by turn. Outside of when and how to move werewolf, everything in this list is super straightforward. You just follow that play pattern and you should be totally freaking fine. Give it some run. You're gonna have to learn some placement stuff with bounce, but like outside of that, this is perfectly straightforward. Give it a try. It's got a really good matchup into all the junk in the meta. It can beat Hela, but it's inconsistent. And it can beat Move, but it needs Shadow King. So this list has play. So if you want to have some play and have some fun, check it out. All right, questions of the day. Our first is Drive Stort. Asks what it would take to make Grandmaster more playable, and I think Grandmaster is perfectly playable. All Grandmaster really needs to be super playable. It's just the right freaking card to go with it. It would not shock me if Symbiote Spider-Man gets better over time, and then Grandmaster sort of goes in the same decks with it. I know that from our friend Gunny T, who again has that Pokemon video that you should check out. Just type in Pulse Glazer Pokemon, it'll pop right up, or wait 2 minutes and it'll be my end screen. But Grandmaster is fundamentally good enough. As soon as Symbiote Spider-Man is good enough, we need a redundancy of effects, and we need the right powerful effects. I do think Grandmaster is right now good in Darkhawk decks, and Darkhawk decks are good into the meta, and no one's playing them. Alex Skillo asks how likes and comments help the channel grow. All right, so YouTube runs on an algorithm, right? So you watch the video, YouTube sees, oh my God, you're watching the video, specifically watching through ads. And they go, wow, this person, we should show them to more people. People are enjoying this. Likes and comments tell YouTube the same thing. It's sort of sending a signal to the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying the content. And if you're enjoying the content, then they go, well, maybe other people who are similar will enjoy the content. And then they send the content to more people. They send it to more people click on it, more people see it. Videos do better. I appreciate it. Thank you. Jfire asks how I watched the silly video. Well, I said this yesterday, but this is Lufku9 against our friend JJ Rolk, both former podcast guests. So this is from Lufku's Twitter, and he's playing against JJ Rolk. So we see, playing slowly, we see Blue Marvel get played on Lufku's side, and then we see Blink on JJ Rolk's side, and let's watch things go crazy. Blink hits Jeff into Cersei. Ready? Cersei up Zola. 2 more Cerseis. Ready? Electro becomes Iron Lad, becomes War Machine. So far, so good. Oh, Grandmaster back into Cersei, becomes Legion, flooding out and locking down the game, and arishem. That was turn 5. There's still a turn 6, where there would be where the game is over. Insane, right? Make sure you check out Lufku9, and you should check out JJ Rolk as well to see awesome content. It's completely wild. That is one of the 2 greatest Marvel Snap plays ever. The other is GamingwithFlashX against Prashaun. But if they would like me to show that, I'm perfectly happy to do that as well. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. If you're willing to check out our Patreon, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. We have all sorts of exclusive content over there. I'd like to thank you to Abigail Kiesling, Manager Burnout Cables, Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., I Am Frostman, Jay Neverit, Corwin, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Caretix Lee, Poire, Black Dahlia, Pyrofros, The Goat Seeker, Denman Falcon, Archangel 3K, Quid Pro Joe, yes, Quid Pro Joe, Docty, the King of New Marvel Snap Card Content, Fat Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Hey Racco, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, Extras V, and Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, who won Snap Judgments League Season 1, The King of Bros, Brett, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Woody, Kev Hoda, Lunacris, and now we're into Q-Town, Quantum Quinn, Johnny Q, and Jimmy McHugh, Clam, 8 Sage, Mod Supreme Models, Darth Tater, No Joe K. Joe B, Brian Kaufman, Tristan Smart, and Jason B, Real Name Town, J.D. McDonaldinho, check him out on Twitch, The Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrumix, who, the one and only Matt H. We don't need no more Matt H's. DJ, Mikey, Hijinks, who I saw on Sizer Stream earlier. No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, Mr. Greg Sterry, Seamus, Jonesy, check out the Triple Threat, y'all. Jonesy makes YouTube videos you should watch. 2 Ties, The Great Lord Devs, The Parry King Tuccrr, The Homie Man, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for the Pokemon videos right here. You should totally click it. Click that Pokemon video, pretty please. In addition, if you want to check that video with the Scarlet Spider list that's got the high win rate that I made, that's linked here too. And I appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. There's not a second OTA video for reasons that are not my fault, I promise. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow.